You've been lied to about space your entire life. Not by accident, by movies, textbooks, and decades of pop culture mythology that felt so convincing, nobody ever stopped to question it. The sky you look up at every night? You don't even see its real color. The void you imagine as silent and empty? Parts of it are screaming. And that peaceful asteroid belt from every sci-fi film you love? Almost nothing like reality. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, everything you thought you knew about space is going to feel slightly tilted in the best possible way. 1. The sun is yellow. Let's start with something you see every single day and still get wrong. The color of the sun. Look up. Yellow. Right? Wrong. The sun is actually white. Astronomers measure a star's temperature through its light spectrum. Cooler stars burn red, the hottest stars glow blue, and our sun? It emits most of its energy at a wavelength closest to green. But because it pumps out energy across the entire visible spectrum simultaneously, all those colors blend together and produce pure white light. The yellow you see? That's Earth's atmosphere scattering away the blue light before it reaches your eyes. If the sun were truly the yellow shade we imagine, Earth's temperatures would plummet so drastically that life as we know it wouldn't exist. 2. The sun is on fire. While we're correcting things about our star, it is not burning. Not in any traditional sense. Fire requires oxygen and a chemical combustion reaction. The sun has neither of those happening on its surface. What it actually runs on is nuclear fusion, hydrogen atoms smashing together under extraordinary pressure in the core to form helium, releasing unimaginable amounts of energy in the process. It's less campfire, more thermonuclear reactor operating at scales our brains genuinely struggle to process. 3. Space is empty and pristine. Here's a romantic idea. Space as this untouched, infinite wilderness. Clean, majestic, eternal. The reality is that humans have been filling the area around Earth with garbage since the 1950s. We're talking defunct satellites, discarded rocket stages, fragments from old collisions. Over 20,000 trackable pieces of debris currently orbit our planet. Some moving at speeds fast enough to punch through a spacecraft like a bullet through tissue paper. The zone closest to Earth isn't a pristine frontier. It's more like a very fast-moving junkyard. 4. Explosions in space look like the movies. Every dramatic spaceship destruction you've ever seen, the massive fireballs, the thunderous boom, is physically impossible. Explosions require oxygen to sustain combustion. Space has none. So in reality, if a spacecraft were destroyed in the vacuum, there would be no fireball and absolutely no sound. Just a silent spray of debris expanding outward in every direction. The next time you watch a blockbuster space battle, appreciate it for the art it is, because it has almost nothing to do with physics. If this is already rewriting what you thought you knew, hit that like button right now and keep watching, because the next few are genuinely going to surprise you. You'd instantly freeze in space without a suit. This one feels obvious, but it's wrong. Space is not cold in the way a freezer is cold. Temperature, by definition, is the measure of particle movement and energy. In a true vacuum, there are almost no particles, meaning there's almost nothing to transfer cold to your body. You wouldn't freeze instantly. What would actually happen is far worse. Without atmospheric pressure, oxygen can't properly enter your bloodstream. You'd lose consciousness in about 15 seconds and suffer organ failure within roughly 2 minutes. The vacuum doesn't freeze you, it suffocates you. 6. The asteroid belt is a dense, dangerous minefield. Science fiction has convinced generations of people that flying through the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter is a gauntlet of near-constant collisions. In reality, the asteroid belt spans approximately 140 million miles across roughly 1.5 times the distance between Earth and the Sun. Within that enormous volume, individual asteroids are typically thousands of miles apart from each other, NASA has sent multiple spacecraft directly through this region with ease. You're statistically far more likely to get struck by lightning than a spacecraft is to accidentally hit an asteroid in the belt. 7. There are too many stars to count. You've probably said it. There are too many stars to count. But here's a fun fact. You're wrong. According to star catalogs, approximately 9,110 stars are visible to the naked eye from Earth. That's not a small number, but it's absolutely a countable one. Could you sit outside and count all of them in one night? Probably not, but the number is finite, documented, and far more manageable than the infinite sky feeling we get when we look up. Zero gravity exists in space. Astronauts float, therefore space has no gravity. That's the logic most people use, and it's incorrect. The International Space Station experiences roughly 90% of the gravitational pull that we feel standing on Earth's surface. The reason astronauts float isn't because gravity is gone. It's because both the station and the astronauts inside it are continuously falling around Earth in a controlled orbit. They're in perpetual freefall, which creates the sensation of weightlessness. Gravity isn't absent. It's just being expressed in a way our intuition doesn't immediately recognize. 9. Earth is a perfect sphere. Flat earthers are wrong, but so is anyone who imagines Earth as a perfect globe. Our planet bulges slightly at the equator because of its rotation spinning fast enough that centrifugal effects push material outward along the middle. Earth is technically an oblate spheroid, wider at the waist than from pole to pole. This isn't just trivia. That equatorial bulge is part of why most rocket launch sites are positioned as close to the equator as possible. Less distance to travel outward means less fuel needed to escape the planet's gravitational grip. 10. Mercury is the hottest planet. It's the closest planet to the Sun, so it must be the hottest. Right? Wrong. Mercury is actually surpassed in temperature by Venus, despite Venus being nearly twice as far from the Sun. The reason: Venus has a dense atmosphere of carbon dioxide that traps heat so efficiently it creates a runaway greenhouse effect, pushing surface temperatures to around 900 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to melt lead. Mercury, with virtually no atmosphere, can't hold heat at all. Its night side plunges to temperatures colder than most of the outer solar system. Distance from the Sun is just one variable in a much more complicated equation. 11. The solar system sits still. Many people imagine our solar system as a fixed dot in the galaxy stable, stationary, a permanent address in the universe. In reality, the entire solar system is hurtling through space at roughly 140 miles per second, orbiting the center of the Milky Way. One full lap around our galaxy takes approximately 230 million years. The last time Earth was in its current position relative to the galactic center, dinosaurs hadn't even appeared yet. We are not standing still. We are passengers on a cosmic journey that never stops. Here's what's remarkable about all of this. None of these corrections make space less extraordinary. If anything, the truth is stranger and more spectacular than the myths. A sun that's technically white, a solar system sprinting through the galaxy, a vacuum that suffocates rather than freezes, and an asteroid belt so vast it's practically empty reality keeps outpacing imagination at every turn. Space doesn't need Hollywood's embellishments. The actual science is already the most mind-bending story ever told. So next time someone tells you the sun is yellow, or that Mercury must be the hottest planet, you know better. And that's the whole point of looking up.